All right, so hi everyone. My name is Joe Bales, and I've been a Defense Solutions Product Engineer at Esri, based here in Redlands for 4 years, actually 4 years Monday. I've got about 13 years of federal service, mostly in military combat arms units and civilian emergency services. And I have a degree in geographic science from James Madison University. I'm joined today by my teammate, Eric Linz, who, in addition to a degree in geography from Chico State University, not Chino, that's the prison, has over 2 decades of GIS experience supporting the defense industry here at Esri. Before we get started, however, I want to take a second and show you what I'm talking about. So, say you're a civil affairs team member, and you're on a foot patrol or going out to an engagement of some sort, and you just come across an individual that you want to get some demographic data on. Right, you can just open up your app, go to the atmospheres questionnaire and start collecting. So you guys saw I had one already populated. So so you can click through here and you can see, right, where do you live, how old are you, and we're starting to get an understanding of what this population feels and how they, and what they think and all that. And we can just send that survey and immediately watch it show up on a board, right? So in this web app, an operations cell might have this app up and running, and then they can actually query by, they're in here. They can zoom in. Everything is queryable and searchable. They can go by atmospherics questionnaires and click in here and see that same one, right? And they can do more with that information, right? They can actually go in here and edit these things and move these atmospherics questionnaires from received to to complete or send RFIs back down or whatever it is. Or you have a dashboard up on the wall, so you've got the same kind of functionality. We can query and see what's going on, and we have all these analytics here that are telling us exactly what's going on. So we've got full situational awareness happening in real time. So yeah, during the last webinar, we talked about operations centers and some of the workflows that they wanted to improve and to digitize. It's important to have accurate and up-to-date information, not just from adjacent and higher units, but to understand the ground truth from your subordinate units. So that brings us to field collection. The ability to generate information and return it to a higher echelon for situational awareness, analysis, planning, decision-making, it's all of vital importance. In reality, this could take the form of an urgent request for support, like a medical evacuation or unexploded ordnance, or a less emergent assessment of the situation through reconnaissance, surveillance, or like the civil affairs units we worked with, community engagement. Out of the workflows we discussed in our previous webinar, we're going to discuss or focus on 2 today: conducting and tracking surveys and managing requests for information, or RFIs. We'll briefly reiterate visualizing all that content along with other information on the common operational picture. In our final webinar, Matt and Larry will discuss a 4th workflow, quality control for your data and processes, and explain how you can iterate on your forms and data entry. We're still looking to solve the same problems, though, in this one, mainly the amount of generated content and the lack of a solid distribution method. A team may conduct a series of engagements, collecting hundreds of surveys, all in paper form, and the resulting reams of paper would then need to be collated, consolidated, and analyzed, and then that analysis usually just printed out and shoved into pockets and binders, the tracking of which could easily break at a shift change. So members of our team brainstormed with these organizations and boiled it all down into some challenge statements, and they mocked something up together. We wanted basically to increase speed and accuracy at collection, allow for accurate real-time analysis of quantitative data, and improve the tracking capability for that information. And once they were done, they brought that mock-up back to Redlands, and we set out to create a repeatable solution for the rest of the community. So those 3 or 4 workflows we talked about before roughly translate to 3 separate personas, 3 sets of users that interact with the system in different ways or from different points of view. The operations folks want to be able to manipulate their data however they want. Command teams or decision makers just want an easy way to see all of it. And the field users want a simple, portable interface that's easy to use. The field collection part of this workflow can very easily be boiled down into 3 steps, right? You're going to ask your questions, get your results, and make your decisions. We'll delve into that a little later, but I think it's important to see how simple that really is. So when you're designing and publishing your questions in these forms, you're going to use one of 2 apps. The web designer is built right into your ArcGIS Online organization, or you can log into it through survey123.arcgis.com and get the same place. If you're disconnected, or if you want a more robust smart form experience, you can download or install Survey123 Connect. It's a desktop app that is designed to work with Microsoft Excel. The user interface is designed around completing and sharing your forms as quickly as possible, and you're going to use your online organization or portal to leverage that. When you publish, the data schema you've just built with all the domain values and data types and all that, that becomes a feature service, and the UI that you've just built becomes a form. So both of these are accessible to any group or user that you identify. And you can even differentiate between people you want to submit forms, view results, or edit the forms and data layers themselves. In the data capture step, we get into field collection itself, and there are 2 apps for that as well. Web forms are an easy browser-based form that can be embedded into a website, and they're great for forms you intend to fill out from your desk, like an RFI. The field app, which you can use on almost any device, is designed to work with your device's integrated sensors, and you can use that either online or offline. You also have the ability to go public or private with your surveys. So in this civil affairs workflow that we've discussed, it's only teammates that will be filling out these forms. So we can be very explicit while building the form and give additional guidance as necessary. We can even use standard operating terms and procedures to streamline the form itself. But if I have the ability to crowdsource my surveys with just a web link, we could exponentially increase our return and get that much more data. There are a few tools to analyze the data and make decisions in Survey123 itself. In the web version, there are a ton of reporting tools built into the software, and you can easily tailor it to fit your needs. And if that isn't what you're looking for, your data is already integrated into the ArcGIS Enterprise, and you can leverage any of our other applications for analysis, like insights, visualization, like operations dashboard, or presentation, like story maps. Matt and Larry will show you more about that in our final webinar. So we already kind of discussed this, but I thought that these 2 slides are a little more specific. So here you can either use ArcGIS Online or 123 Connect to publish to either ArcGIS Online or Portal, and then use that form in either the web or a mobile app. And here's the larger civil affairs workflow. So our solutions documentation will carry you through setting all this up, including building a web app to manage your information and a dashboard for visualization. We're getting close to the demo, I promise. But first, I want to take an opportunity to explain the solution just a little bit more. So here's a current list of apps broken out by type. We have forms, web apps, and a dashboard. And at that link underneath the title, you can download all the information you need to get started. Eric's going to show you that in just a little bit. So instead of filling out whole pallets of paper with every conceivable misspelling, bad grammar, or other information, you can reduce those issues by automating and digitizing at the point of data entry. You can use Survey123 anywhere, and you can either take advantage of the simple web interface to get started, or use Microsoft Excel to create a robust web form that has all of the smart logic built in. I can share that data as a service for the rest of the ArcGIS Enterprise to use, to either visualize it or manipulate the data. So how that affects civil military operations, and going back to the same instance we talked about before, a civil affairs team member on a patrol, I have an encounter and I want to fill out the survey. So if it's just a chance encounter in the street, I'm going to use an atmospheric questionnaire. just a brief discussion. When I actually get to where I'm going and have that conversation with that key leader, I'm going to use the population assessment questionnaire. And for the team itself, for the entire Civil Affairs Battalion, the RFI form can be used to submit requests between organizations and sections and companies and teams and all that. So let's check it out. So once you get started, you're going to have your portal, right, or your ArcGIS online organization. And you see here we've got everything here at our disposal. We have a nice civil military operations gallery where we have easy access to all of the apps that we've built. You can even use the switcher up top to get to all the different apps that you have at your disposal. So if you click on Survey 123 for ArcGIS, it'll take you straight there. And you're already logged in, credentialed, and so you see all the surveys that I have here. I haven't built very many, I suppose, on this one. But if I go into create a new survey, you see right there you already have the choice. Use the web designer and get started really quickly, or go to Survey 123 Connect. So I actually already created you one, and I called it Eric and Joe's Super Fun Survey. Before I get started, I'm going to copy this link and I'm going to give it to you guys. So feel free to fill it out. Don't be shy. Let me know if you guys can't see that. And for those of you that want to use a mobile device, I'll give you 10 or 15 seconds to pull your phones out and scan the QR code. Eric, what do you want to talk about for 10 or 15 seconds?
It's getting close to lunch out here. Where are we going for lunch?
Dude, I don't know, man. All right, so let's add that question. Let's ask everybody. So let's add a multiple choice question down here at the bottom. Well, what should we eat for lunch? Some people might not know the awesome choices we have here in Redlands, California. Nothing spicy, please. I don't know, what do you think? Mexican, Italian, Chinese? We can even batch edit this. Let's add a couple more. Burgers, pizza. Joe, food is a crutch. Get back to work. And if you guys want to add another choice, we'll add another choice. We can make this question required. I need your feedback. I don't know what to do. And it's already there, so it's good to go. So I can save it immediately. And you're not going to see the changes yet because I haven't published my changes. So I can actually sit here and edit the form however I want, and you're not going to see anything until I hit publish. Another thing I wanted to show you guys is the linkage between questions, right? So, so I asked another question, do you have any questions or user stories you'd like to share with us? Yes or no. So if you say no, then whatever, I'm not going to bother you with these other questions. But if you say yes, then I've actually given you two subsequent questions. Well, okay, tell me what your story is, and then do you want me to write you back? Great. And then from there, we even linked to another level. I guess would that be a third level, a tertiary level? And hey, give me your email address so I can actually write you back. So let's look at and see what that is. What's that look like? Preview. So here we can preview in all the different form factors in a browser, in a phone, or in a tablet. And we've got all of the stuff here, and it all works, right? We can click on this. What's this thing called? A Likert? I don't even know what that name means. Bet you Eric knows.
Psychologist Rensis Likert.
Yeah, so you can fill it out. You can tell us we're doing awesome or not. Feel free, be honest. You can say that you're a monster and you don't think that Eric has the voice of an angel. And we wouldn't be a GIS company if we didn't ask you for a location. So you can You can zoom in and select what you want. It's going to go off of point data only right now. And the only thing you can't do from preview is submit. Let's close that back out. You can even do other stuff, right? You can change the appearance. You go to the mountains, you can go to the beach, pick different colors. You can change what it says after the form is successfully submitted. You rock. Thanks for attending. Don't want to say thanks twice. Oh, hey, Ben, you turned on your webcam. So let's go ahead and publish our changes. So if I actually delete a question, it'll ask me if I want to delete the records associated with that question or if I want to keep them around, which I thought was pretty cool. The next thing you can do is you can collaborate, right? So once I've developed my survey, oh, Ben turned his camera off. Once we develop our survey, then we can choose how we want to share it, right? So we've got the option to ask the user if they want to open it in the browser or in an app, go straight to the app, go to the browser, and you see there the URL is actually changing. I should probably click slower for those of you with slower refresh rates. And we still have that QR code if you need another second to scan it. And I can select who I want to submit the data, right? So anyone, right here I've selected a public survey, so anybody with the link can log on and submit one. But then I can actually choose who is going to view the results and who's going to see the analysis for this data. So I can just choose members of my organization or specific groups. Next thing I want to do is I want to analyze, right? So now we can start to see, all right, we're starting to get some answers. Yeah, we can see all of the information, and the best part about this is Survey123 already knows the data types, so it's going to give you visualizations that are kind of tailored to that, right? And then we can actually go in and change it and see what's going on. So it looks like people are happy. People want to see Survey123. Having problems with connectivity. All right, so just know that it'll work with Portal. And so we can come back and check that out a little later. The other thing we can do is we can check it out just like an attribute table and a web map, right? So we can see we got people in the UK, we got people that just want to select 00, unless they're sitting in an oil rig or a ship out there in the middle of nowhere. And when we query it, we see individual responses, and you can go through the entire, yeah, that individual's actual response. You can filter by time, you can output to different file formats, or you can download your data. All right, so we'll check in with that a little bit later, maybe, if there's anything of note. Otherwise, I think I'm done with my portion. So Eric, I think, is going to show you now how to use Survey123 Connect. Eric, I'm going to give you.
All right,
presenter
thank you, Joe.
right now. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Knock 'em dead, Tiger.
All right, thank you, Joe. So Joe demonstrated how you can create surveys using the web designer, but to create advanced surveys or publish to ArcGIS Enterprise or Portal for ArcGIS, you use Survey123 Connect for ArcGIS, which creates surveys based on XLS Forms. XLS Form is a standard for creating forms within Excel spreadsheets. Let's take a look at one of the spreadsheets that's provided in the Civil Military Operations Solution. So what I have for you now is the Civil Military Operations Solution on our Solutions website. I've already downloaded the solution to my local machine, and I'll open up Windows Explorer so we can examine the solution contents. I'll navigate into the Forms folder. We'll find an individual folder for each form. Let's take a look at the Request for Information spreadsheet. Let me minimize that so I can show you the bottom of the form. So there are 4 worksheets: survey, choices, settings, and types. The survey worksheet gives your form its overall structure. It contains the full list of questions and information about how they should appear in the form. There are 3 required columns: type, name, and label. The type column specifies the type of question you're adding. You can click on the value in the drop-down and see all the valid question types. The name column determines the name of the ArcGIS feature service column in which the response to the question will be stored. And the label column contains the text you'll see in the form for your questions. You can also embed HTML tags so you can style the label, such as make text bold, italicize, or set the justification of the text, for example. The choices worksheet is used to specify the answer choices for multiple choice questions. The list name column lets you group together a set of related answer choices. Choices with the same list name will be presented as the set of answers for question. The name column specifies the value that will be stored in the feature service when that choice is chosen. And the label column specifies the answer choice exactly as you want to appear on the form. The settings worksheet is optional and allows you to further customize the form. You can set the title that will be displayed while the form is being edited, an instance name to uniquely identify each completed form, and a unique version identifier for the survey. The types worksheet acts as a glossary and is used as a reference for looking up the definition of different properties and operators that can be used within the forms. This worksheet is also used to populate the drop-down list for supported properties in the templates. Now that we've looked at the XLS Form spreadsheet, let's see how we create the survey and publish it to an online organization. So I've switched to Survey123 Connect for ArcGIS. You'll notice that I've already created the 3 surveys provided in the Civil Military Operations solution, but I'll recreate the request for information survey for you now. I've already signed in to my online organization where I'll publish the survey. To get started, I'll click New Survey. I'm presented with a dialog to choose how I want to create the survey. You can create the survey based on a template, samples, which are provided to help you learn the technology, surveys that have been shared with the community, surveys that I own or owned by my organization, from existing feature services, and from a file. And this is how I'll create this new survey. So I'm going to browse for our RFI form that we were looking at earlier. And I will change the name of the title of the form to RFI and click Create Survey. Survey123 Connect has now read the input XLS form and converted it into a survey. It displays a new copy of the spreadsheet, which is copied in the Survey123 Connect folder on my computer, and displays what the survey will look like when it's published. And that's what you see here in the background. I can also preview the schema of the feature service that will be created when I publish the survey. This schema was generated from the information in the input XLS form. Let's take a look at a few survey settings. I can modify various properties of the survey to include things like the summary and description, the color of various backgrounds and text elements of the form, and I can alter various properties of the map used by the user when they set the survey location, such as the default map. Before I publish the survey to my online organization, I'd like to add a few additional questions. So let's go back and look at the form preview. I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom of the form. So down in the response method group, we ask the user what method of delivery would they like for the RFI. One of the choices is print, which you see here. So let's ask the user how many printouts they'd like. So I'm going to switch back to the spreadsheet. Let's open up here in full mode. And I'm going to add a new question of type integer. So I'm just going to place it here at the end of the form. So the order of the questions in the form is determined by the order of the rows in the spreadsheet. Oops, excuse me. I'm going to select the integer as the type. I'm going to set the field name. I'll set the label. So this again will be what's displayed in the form. And then I only want this question to be displayed when the user selects print from the delivery method. So I'm going to populate the relevant value here to use the selected function. Now I also want to restrict the user from specifying negative numbers or ask for more printouts than my staff can efficiently handle. So I'll specify a constraint value. In fact, let me just close the screen up a little bit, get to the bottom. So set the constraint. Oops, excuse me. And then I'll also set then a constraint message. So this message will be displayed when the user submits the survey and the value for this field is outside of the constraint range. You can also perform calculations based on the value of another field. For example, we can add a read-only field to store the cost of the printouts calculated based on the number of printouts the user has selected. So let's add another question here of type decimal. Set the field. Again, set the label. And let's scroll over to the right here because I would like to set the read-only property. So I'm going to set this to yes, because since this is going to be a calculated field, I don't want the person filling out the survey to specify a value. And I'm going to set the relevant value to the same value that we used in the previous question. And then we're going to set the calculation. So based on the number of printouts the user selected, I want to multiply that by 2550. Boy, I guess I have some pretty expensive taste when it comes to paper.
Eric, I done told you stop buying that crazy paper. And hey man, I think you misspelled delivery method up on label 26.
So just as we can add new questions to the survey, I can go back and edit questions that are already in the spreadsheet. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for pointing that out. All right, so what I'd like to do now is I'll add a couple of image questions. Now this doesn't really fit so well with RFI, but I'd like to demonstrate the capabilities that we have within Survey 123. So image types would do great, like if you need to do a damage assessment, for example, and needed to take pictures of destroyed vehicles or buildings, things of that nature. So I've set the question type to image. I'll set the field name, and I will specify a label. I'd also like to show you another type of image type. So I'm going to specify image again, but this time, let's set the field, set the label, but this time I would like to collect a signature. So maybe somebody needs to sign off on a survey or something. So we can go in then, once we've, let's go back to the appearance field. And the appearance allows you to control the look of various questions. So for example, if I had a list of questions, I could set it to minimal. And that way I'll get a drop down. If I don't set it to minimal, then all the questions are displayed and I'll just take up more room in the form. So you can adjust the appearance to better suit the device that you're going to be using the survey on. So I'm going to select signature here. And I'm going to save this form, but let me move this slightly out of the way so that you'll see that when I save the spreadsheet, that the form in the background is actually being updated and refreshed. So now let's scroll down to the bottom of the new form now. And you'll notice we have the two image questions, and now when I select delivery, and select print, then our two new printout related questions are shown. So at this point, I'm ready to publish the survey to my online organization. So I'm going to click publish. Now I'm presented with a dialog informing me that if I make changes to the survey after I've published it, that I may lose existing data stored in the associated feature service. So a good tip is that before publishing your production survey, you prototype the survey with a population sample and flesh out the design. In this case, I'm happy with my survey, so I'll click Publish Survey. Survey 123 Connect for ArcGIS is now creating a folder in my online organization account for the survey. It's creating a hosted feature service to store the survey responses and associated org item. It's updating properties on the service, such as editor tracking and service capabilities. And lastly, creating the form item. So let's go back and look at my online organization account and see what it published. So I'm going to refresh. And now we'll see that it created a new folder in my account. It created the form item, and it created the associated hosted feature service. So now let's take a look at how you use the publish form within the client application. So now you'll see Survey 123 for ArcGIS. Now first, you'll need to provision the survey on my device. I've already connected to my online organization, so I just need to click on Download Surveys. All the forms my account has access to are displayed in the list. I'll select the RFI survey I just published. Now that the survey is downloaded to my device, I can fill out the form. So we'll go back, select the form, and click Collect. So I'm just going to select, or I'm going to populate just a few of the questions here, just so you can kind of see how this works. I'm going to set the description of the request, set the date that I need this answer by. Let's see, set the justification. Let's see, Operation Market Garden. Set the classification. And now let's go and set the location. So earlier, when I was publishing the form and discussing how you can set the default map, this is what I was referring to. So now the user, I just left it as the world street map, but I could have set the default to, let's say, world imagery. And let's go ahead and set a location for my survey and save that location. And let's go back down to the bottom of the form and show you those questions I had added earlier. So let's see, product type, I'll go ahead and select imagery. Let's see, delivery method, oops, excuse me, scroll back down, delivery method, print, and how many printouts that you need. I'll set that to 6. I type in 5. And when I go to printout cost, you'll notice that that field was automatically calculated. Now, as far as the, I guess so, that's a lot of money. So for a damage assessment image, I can either select the folder and select an existing image on my device, or I can select camera, and that'll open up the camera on my device. Hey everybody, smile. And now I'll set my signature. Now I'm ready to submit this form. And it'll validate, and if everything's good, I'll get this survey completed. So my device is online, so I can either send it later or send it now. Why wait? So let's just send it now. And we'll see that we get this instance. So now if I go to the sent box, it'll show me the instance of that survey that was just submitted. Now if my device was offline, then the survey would be automatically saved in an outbox. And when I reestablish connectivity, I'll go back into the outbox and click send. Let's go back into my online account and take a look at the feature service. So I'm going to open up the feature service. Give it a second here, and let's open it in the map viewer. And what we'll see is that survey I submitted has been captured as a feature in the feature service. So I'm going to go hit done here, and I will click on the feature to see the pop-up. And you'll see here that all the questions that I submitted, all the answers to the questions I've submitted in the survey have now been recorded, including both the damage assessment image as well as my signature. So as I've demonstrated, Survey 123 Connect for ArcGIS and Survey 123 for ArcGIS give you the ability to easily create, disseminate, and conduct surveys out in the field. And since the surveys are captured in feature services, you can utilize the complete ArcGIS platform to visualize, analyze, and present the results of your surveys. Back to you, Joe.
Thanks, Eric. That was a motley crew you had assembled there.
That's my team.
It's our team, man. All right, so let's see here. Thought you said you were going to give it to me. There we go. All right, so pulled it up in a dashboard, so you can see here we've got the whole list of people we can start querying. Absolutely, absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. And let's see. Oh, we got a C. I got a C from somebody. Sorry, it's not working. You don't think Eric has? I can't believe it. All right, but let's go back into the survey and Survey 123 and see the analysis. Right. So a lot of positive answers for the workflow. So that's good. If it doesn't really, or kinda, or you think it could, but maybe not, then feel free to chime in and let us know why. What do you want to see more of? Survey 123. All right, well, that's good, because I think we are going to talk about that more. Difficulty of the field collection. So a lot of connectivity issues, a lot of no difficulties. You're awesome. Great job, awesome folks. Suitability. All right. And the other thing you can do is you can remove empty categories. So you just see, so you're going to see if you want to remove the zeros, you can do that. Joe learned to make a list. Come on now. Okay, so average about 40 people per, but it goes anywhere from 2 to 200. Good stuff. 4 stars. All right. Comment on Yelp. I suppose so. What is wrong with you people? 4 people got it right. Do you have any questions? No? All right, good. 2 questions. So yeah, the word cloud didn't really pick out anything of note. Surveys, reports, and status, but we can scroll down here and see what's going on. Spatial clustering, emerging trends, reporting. Yeah. I want to stretch back. We got 2 others and 3 Mexicans. So it looks like we're getting Mexican today, man.
All right, we got plenty of Mexican food around here.
All right. Well, I think that's that. So today we showed you a specific part of one solution that we built for you, and we've created several others, and all of them are fully documented and supported. So if you contact us, we can help you. These are all also open source. So whether you want to log an issue or an enhancement request, or if you're a developer and want to suggest improvements or enhancements, we maintain all of our code on GitHub. Here's a list of our currently released solutions. Orange hexagons are desktop focused, so that's going to be ArcMap and ArcGIS Pro. Blue are web focused, so web app builder widgets and things of that nature. And green are focused on both the desktop and the web. So some of them we've got combined in both. And with that, we'd like to hear your questions.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Joe. Wow, it sounds like you guys have way too much fun over in your department.
We try.
So I do have a question here that came through, and it says, can I use non-ASCII characters in my survey?
Eric, you want to take that one?
Yes, you can. In Survey 123 for ArcGIS, you can create surveys, display questions in any language or multiple languages.
You're a little quiet, Eric. Can you come a little closer to your microphone?
Thank you very much. Had the mic. There we go. In Survey 123 for ArcGIS, yes, you can create surveys to display questions in any language, multiple languages. Non-ASCII characters are not allowed in the name column, though, of the choices or survey worksheets. And just an FYI, there's no issue that prevents the use of ASCII characters in the label column when you're using external select. So just a side note, there is the ability to be able to look up values, use values in an external CSV file so that you can actually have values already populated in this file and then reference it. There's a media folder in your design, Survey 123 design folder that you can place that file and you can reference it from within your spreadsheet. So hopefully that answers that question.
Oh, geez, you know what? Somebody asked to see the QR code and I didn't bring it back up. Here you go. We'll just leave that up there for a couple seconds.
Awesome, thanks, Joe. I have another question. Yep. I'm not sure who wants to take this, but it says, what barcode formats does Survey 123 support?
Barcodes. Good. Oh, yeah, there's, I think it's like about 10 or 12. There's QR, there's code 128, EAN8, UPC, E and A, and the EAN extension, and Codabar, and Maxicode, and probably about 5 or 6 others. If you look at the help topic for Survey 123 for the creating surveys, it'll give you a complete list of all the barcodes supported. So thanks for that question. That's something that we didn't touch on here, but yeah, we do support the entering of barcodes. And while we're at it, in the latest version 2.4 of Survey 123, you have the ability, I just demonstrated the image capabilities like the signature and things. There's also different new appearance types. I believe it's called like annotate, and I don't recall the other one, but you can actually provide an image, or if you take an image, you can set the appearance to annotate to allow you to draw on top of that image. So maybe you had taken a picture of, let's say, a damaged structure, and you want to be a little more, maybe the damage is only one part of the structure. You can actually take a picture of that structure and then go in and actually, like, you know, annotate the image and maybe just point out where the damage is. So that's some good new functionality we have.
Hey, another new function that I saw, I think they just put a video out on it the other day, was using a spike device. And it basically allows you to measure distances from your smartphone using, and then it integrates with Survey 123. I thought that was pretty cool. And polygons and lines. I think polygons and lines. I think that they're in that video. He did something with it. I just saw it yesterday, actually. So let me see if I can pull it up.
Perfect. And while Joe does that, we do have one more question over here. It says, is there a size limit on images submitted?
Yes. So in the Survey 123 Connect, where I was showing the settings, one of the tabs I didn't display here was, or demonstrate, was the images tab. And you can set that. There's categories, so small, medium, large, unrestricted. They're kind of, those values aren't kind of like a size limit. They're really based on pixel, both pixel limit versus the, what's it called? The like 4x3, you know, or large type of images. So the default is medium. You can also set that to unrestricted so that any photo size can be attached to the survey.
Perfect. I have another question asking, do I need to include a geopoint question in my survey?
Geopoint.
No, you don't.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, no, you don't have to. If you want to see your, if you want to attach a spatial reference to that survey entry, then you should put one on there, but you don't need it. Not at all. Good question.
Okay, great. Were you able to find that video, Joe?
Yeah, I saw it on LinkedIn, I think, actually. I'm looking at it right now, but I did see there's integration with other apps, right? So I'm just going to pull this over, actually. So this is straight from the Survey 123 documentation. So it'll integrate with any of the other apps that we have, Navigator, Workforce, Explorer, Collector, but then they've got some other ones on here too, Spike, Google Maps, Waze, a couple other ones.
And if you guys want to see any of this
I'll
documentation
put it in
after
there.
the webinar, you're welcome to reach out to us and we'll be happy to email you over links or additional documentation.
Now I put some links in that survey as well. So if you guys clicked on that, if you up at the very top, you saw links to Survey 123, Operations Dashboard, and Collector, and our website, solutions.arcgis.com/defense.
Perfect. Well, it doesn't look like we have any other questions coming through. So we'll go ahead and end it there. We want to thank you all for joining our webinar today. When you exit, you will have another survey pop up. Just let us know how the webinar was for you today and if there are any additional topics you'd like to see for future webinars. By providing us your feedback, that helps us create better webinars for the future. Thanks again for everyone being here today, and thanks again to Joe and Eric for their wonderful presentation.
Anytime. Thanks, everybody.
Right. Thank you, everybody.
Have a great day.